Hello, and welcome to Marathon Swim Stories, where we explore the human side of the superhuman feats of endurance swimmers and those who support them. I'm marathon swimmer and coach Shannon Keegan. Since we're nestling in for winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, trekking to the pool in the dark, perhaps mustering the fortitude for a dip in chilly waters, I thought it would be fun to follow a journey on the other side of the world, where they're getting ready for summer. We met Carolyn Anderson a few weeks ago. A mom and band teacher in Australia, she completed Rottnest in 2020 and has decided to tackle her fears of the cold in her first solo marathon swim. Here's the first in a three-part series of Carolyn's journey to swim the 34 kilometers down the Derwent River, listed as one of the toughest 13 by the Marathon Swimmers Federation. Enjoy. Hello, Carolyn.
Hello,
So excited.
we're back.
So glad to have you back. It's very exciting for me in the Northern Hemisphere to get to follow the journey of somebody in the Southern Hemisphere who's just kind of wrapping up summer, right? Wait, where are you at?
What no, we're coming into summer.
You're coming into summer, right? Because we're going into winter. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we're coming into summer and I'm doing a cold swim. So it's all a bit messed up. But we're a really big country, right? So yes. it just like you guys, summer is different summer in Tasmania is different to summer where I live. And
right. Yeah.
We don't really, to be honest, we have like two seasons, hot and cold. That's pretty much it. We don't really have autumn and spring. You asked me last time spring and I went spring. Wait, when's spring? Yeah. It's not like in America or lots of places where it's 4 seasons. We don't have that. They do down south, but not okay. Where I live.
Okay. So tell us about where you're going to be swimming. What's this big swim you're training for?
Okay. Well, we don't like to think of it as a big swim. It's just a swim, Shannon.
Just a swim, right? Just an event. Just get to go out and play in the water.
Yeah, we get to play for the day. So it's in Tasmania. Plenty of people have done it now. It's become big. I honestly only heard of it a year. Well, I've only been marathon swimming for 2 years, so I've only heard of it a year ago. And it's down in a state called Tasmania, which is just off Australia down the bottom. And they do get their 4 seasons. So, but the summer isn't that warm. If they do get a little hot spell, it'll only be for a week or something like that. We lived there for 3 years, so I kind of know the drill down there.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just became bigger last year because I started training with people who were supposed to do the North Channel and all those big swims that I just went, wow, and that'll never be me and all that kind of jazz. Jellyfish, what are you talking about? What do they call it? Jellyfish is a pass. Big great white sharks in the Cook Island, pass. All those kind of big swims. I was training with people doing that, and they just, of course, had done all this training leading up to it. And then we got to March 2020, April 2020, and just all that training, I just felt so bad for them. And anyway, so there was one fellow that went down and did this swim, and no one had swum it since, I think, like the 70s.
Really?
So they made it into the marathon swim community. A guy called Chris Geisden, I don't know the fellow, but he's down there and he's retired now, and he got it ratified and all that kind of, don't know the official terminology of that down there, but no one had done it for like 20 years.
Okay.
Anyway, one of the fellows that I know, Linton, he went down and did it, and everyone, and it kind of like, you could see everyone just going, huh. So it's 34K.
Okay.
It kind of goes down a river, meets the ocean, and so you start in fresh, finish in salt. And then just one person after another started doing it, and then one thing led to another, and of course I'm training with these people, and the next thing you know, I've said yes.
It's just all of a sudden they twisted your arm and you were like, okay, fine.
That's right. And I gave hubby a couple of wines and I said, okay, guess what I've done? And he goes, where are we going now? So it's called the Derwent River Swim. quite a few. I think like up to 40 people have done it now. You know, it's getting bigger and bigger because no one can travel with COVID. So next year, I think everyone's booked in for their big swims next year. But yeah, so
is it run as an event, or do you like get a pilot, or how does it work?
This is the scary thing for me personally, is this is my very first non-event swim. So, you know, I won't be standing on the start line, rub their hands together. I won't be standing on the start line with 3,000 people like at Rottnest, and I just follow the person in front of me. It's on the boat. I have a 2 a.m. start on the boat, jump out in the cold, dark, freshwater river and just start swimming. So it's going to be very different. I've never swum next to a boat in the dark by myself before. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, it's my first non-event swim.
All right. The first solo marathon swim. That's exciting.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, so I'm on January 13.
Okay.
And then so I'm actually one of the first cabs off the rank for the season. The season's kind of like Christmas to like the end of March.
Okay.
So I'm hoping they get no snow over Christmas, which Tasmania sometimes gets in summer. It's one of those sort of states.
Okay.
And I'm very, very nervous that they'll get a big dump of snow and it'll be quite chilly. But everyone says to me, it's not going to snow. It's going to be lovely and warm and I'll be fine.
So tell us how you're preparing for, I guess, yeah. What do you think are kind of your biggest challenges going in, or your biggest weaknesses? Like, what are you working on?
What am I working on? I think probably two things. I think the mental, right? The mental of being on my own. And no one likes to put a time on these things. You know, like I said in the last one, my longest swim was 9.5 hours. So at least I know I can do that. Just the mental of, I guess, the length and the colder water. I mean, people in the UK will be laughing at me, you know, me in cold swimming. It'll be like 15 degrees, which is probably their summer.
15 in the water?
15, yeah, in the water.
That's 59. So that's chilly. 59? That's below channel 10.
Is that chilly? Yeah. Thank you. I think it's chilly too. Yeah. I think it's chilly too. So 50, I'm hoping for like 17, but it depends on what sort of summer. It depends on what sort of summer they have. Okay. So if it starts warming up, you know, if it's been no snow for a month leading up, there'll be nothing melting into the river. So hopefully that'll be good. So the length of time will be the scary bit. The swimming in the dark. I've never, like all the events, of course, are in the daylight. So swimming in the dark will be different. I've been practicing all that, of course. And the temperature will also be different. But I have had to get used to the fresh water because I've only ever done ocean swims. So this will kind of, I guess, be the first freshwater swim. So I've had to kind of get used to the buoyancy that we discussed last time. Mm-hmm. You know, just the swimming, to me, it just feels like you're just so low and I feel like I'm swimming through oil. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's lovely, it's beautiful, but I just feel so heavy in fresh water. Okay. I don't know. It just feels different, but I'm getting used to it. I've been doing a lot of training in freshwater, so I'm definitely getting better than say 6 or 8 months ago. Okay. Tell us the things you've done to target that. So going to freshwater. How are you swimming in the dark? Tell us about that stuff. Oh, well, I certainly follow what the amazing people. You know, I'm just so lucky here. I've just sort of met people who have met people who have met people who have done swimming stuff before COVID. You know, they've traveled a lot and they've done Lake Tahoe. How do you say that? Yep, that one too. And they're looking at, you know, doing the 7 lakes of the world, or I don't even
Ocean
know. 7,
yeah.
No. There's a lake one now.
Oh yeah. You're right. The Stillwater 7. Yeah, I think I've heard of that too. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, no. I'm totally on top of the Ocean 7 now. That's not 7 kilometers. No, I'm totally, no, there's a lake one now. So everyone's kind of in the fresh water. So that we've got a reservoir near us called Enoggera Dam. It's a reservoir, and, after rain, it can be a bit murky, I guess. And I'm really conscious, if I don't clean out my sinuses consistently after a big swim for the next 2 days, I'm at the doctor with a sinus infection, so
Oh, wow.
yeah. So actually I had one experience I had about 6 weeks ago. I did a massive swim in there. I mean, it is clean. All those people in Brisbane, it is clean. Just I'm very susceptible to it. And I would swim, did a big swim. And I mean, it was typical, whatever. And I thought I cleaned my sinuses out, but I kind of, went to work and all the jazz. And about 4 days later, I said to hubby, geez, I'm not feeling well at all. And I that was kind of at work. And then in the evening, I said to him at about 6 o'clock in the evening, I said, I've just got to go to bed. I just don't feel well. I must be coming down with something, whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he's, I don't know if you have it in America, fly in, fly out worker, where they fly to work, stay there for a week, and then they fly home and come home on the weekends. Anyway.
Before COVID, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're doing it in the, he flies into the state. He goes out to mining town.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, anyway, so he flew out, 3 o'clock on whatever day it was, and see you later, I'm not feeling great. Anyway, by 5 o'clock, I couldn't focus, I couldn't see anything, I had a terrible migraine, blah, 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 blah. Oh. Anyway, my son comes up and says, oh, you don't look well. Look, long story short, ended up ringing my sister, ended up the whole ambulance thing, emergency, and just the whole side of my face they took an MRI. It was just so infected from the side. Yeah, I know. So I had to have like injections of antibiotics and I just didn't clean my sinuses out well, and I'm just so susceptible to it. And this is something that I've been fighting with the freshwater in this particular lake, is for some reason, I can swim in the salt, no problem, but all the freshwater swims, I've just got to be really conscious of sinuses and ears, and I have to clean my ears out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, anyway, that was
Is it
Monday.
That was Monday, you said?
One day. About 6 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
Oh, well, we'll tick that off in the box.
Yes, your commitment is through the roof now. The ER.
Well, I know other people do it, but I think I was just particularly susceptible that day. I just mustn't have cleaned it out properly or whatever. So that's kind of been new. And I have antihistamines. That's new.
Is it pollen related? I
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I feel like sometimes if I do a swim, I feel like I just live off antihistamines for the next 3 days, which is fine because, in COVID times, you're not allowed to sniffle anymore. Right. And I'm a teacher, so the last thing you want is sniffling in front of the kids, because you just need one student to go home and say, Mrs. Anderson was sniffling. And, So I just feel like I live off antihistamines for the next few days, and then I'm good to go again, so, but I'm only swimming in the dam once every couple of weeks. So
understandably.
Yeah. So and these, I like these people that swim are just, they're so awesome. And it's literally, I think I just kept turning up for a year, and when I first was training for the Rottnest, and you kind of meet someone who meets someone, and you just keep turning up, and they'd say, and I just started just turning up with them, and they'd go for their 6 hours or whatever. But just turning up in the car park, getting out of the car, listening to them talk, I got the ocean grease 80-20, I've got the 50-50, and you're like, what? And you go home and quickly Google it, what were they talking about? I just kept turning up, and I'd start the swim with them, and then I'd be like, and that's it basically. So, and then I'd swim for an hour and then go home, and 6 hours later they'd finish. So that's kind of how I started. And I just kept learning from people. I didn't feel like with these guys that I had to swim when I first started, swim as long as them. I just it was just nice to start. And sometimes, honestly, I remember a couple of times I'd swim with them for a couple of hours. I'd go home, I'd have a shower, and then I'd go back and have coffee with them 7 hours later.
Oh,
you
wow.
know,
That's
well, I
awesome.
don't want to miss out on the coffee, right? You know, so I think just hanging out with people and like listening to your podcast. I love people that talk about the practical things. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's write that one down. Yeah. You know, I love listening to people's stories, but I really loved listening to the practical things when someone would say, so then I tried, you know, and I thought, oh, and that's kind of just how I started. And then anyway, so we swim in this dam in the dark. And I think last time I said on the podcast, you know, I did the 2 a.m. swim and I slept in because they started at 12. But generally we're kind of swimming at, so this Friday we've got a big swim kind of ramping up. I think I'm 8 weeks out now. So got another 6 hour swim in the dam this Friday. So I think we're meeting at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And even then, because I live an hour away from the dam.
Oh, wow.
So she's an early start. Yeah, it's an early start. In saying that though, I'll do you know what cricket is? Cricket, a sport, cricket? Maybe not. Oh, you do? Yeah. Great. So, you know, yeah, so I'll do that and then I'll go and watch my son play cricket and then at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll be just like, ooh. So then I'll go home and then I'm out. I go home and have a nap. Look, I have to admit I am a big napper. I do struggle a little bit with the energy levels. I'm certainly not Superwoman. I really struggle, and sometimes the kitchen just does not get clean because I come home on a Saturday or Sunday and I just have to sleep. I'm just sorry, I'm not parenting today. I'm out, you know.
That's awesome.
Which is easy. My kids are older, right?
Yeah.
Which definitely helps. Yeah.
So tell us about, how did you come up with your training plan? Are you getting any coaching or just the friends, or how did you decide how to train for this? This 34K?
Well, I was training in a 25-meter pool with an amazing coach, Toby. But I just had to, as we talked about, I just got terrible knees. So the tumble turning and the lanes are a bit thinner. So I feel like I have to adjust my stroke in squad because I just have such long arms that I just feel like I have to adjust my stroke. So I was talking to one girlfriend, Brittany and Claire, and they put me onto their coach. And I just rang him one day. I'd never met him before, and I just said, hey, I'm such and such as friends. And then he said, all right, well, let's meet at 10 o'clock. And this pool's actually 45 minutes away. You know, my 25-meter pool is literally 2 minutes from my house. So it's kind of like, oh, you kidding me? Really? Because the dam is an hour away. Where I swim in the ocean is 50 minutes away. And I'm like, really? Okay, off we trot. Anyway, so I go across town and I meet this guy and he goes, okay, so Derwent. And, you know, a very friendly guy, don't get me wrong. His name's J Mar, and very friendly. And he said, so are you going to do the Derwent? And I'm like, well, I'm just, you know, I'm a bit concerned. And he goes, right, come back when you're sure. You know, you're either in or you're out, right? Yeah. And I said, I'm in. And he goes, no. And I said, I'm in. Anyway, so he put me on, you know, he's done up this Excel spreadsheet. There's probably, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 of us that are signed up with this guy. So, and he's kind of aligned. There's another guy, Yoop, he's aligned our training plan. So Yoop kind of swims, I guess, 10% more faster than me. So whatever my Ks are, he's, you know, so this weekend, for example, I've got 14 on Friday. So Yoop has like 16. So, but we kind of just, when Carolyn finishes, we all finish. Yeah. Are you done yet? You know, so he's been amazing. Just you know, he gives me a call every couple of weeks, and I go across to his squad once a week. So I don't work on a Monday. No one wants to hear that, but I have Mondays off. No one wants to hear that. So I have been tending to do. So yesterday was Monday here, and I did do a 10K in the pool yesterday. So I did. I kind of swam 2 hours like with the set that he gave me, which is what he calls a long continuous swim.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a set just for your mind, I think. It's just easier to have a set. Okay, now I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500s. Swap pool. I don't. I mean, really, I could just go and do 7K and he wouldn't care. But he calls it a long continuous swim. And then I do squad at the end, and that gives me another 3K kind of on the end. And yesterday to start, so I swum for a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, whatever, and then I get to squad, and he goes, okay, normally this is our endurance squad. We're going to change it up, and today's a speed squad. I'm like, oh my God. Oh man, it was sorry, I was like, oh man, but it was good because I really thought I was done, and I thought at the start of squad, I'm like, how am I going to survive this squad? Okay, my new mantra is just find a way. I'm going to find a way to finish this squad, whether it just means I'm going to kick more, or I'm going to really focus on my left arm pull to relax the right shoulder, or I was just finding a way.
Yes.
In the last 20 minutes we did these 50-meter sprints, and I have no idea I was doing PBs.
Wow, that's great.
I know, and it's kind of like, I hear people say, you don't know what you've got in you. And I just never believe them. I'm like, no, when I'm done, I'm done, And I was really surprised. I kind of forgot, because the first half an hour of squat, I was like, oh my gosh, I've swum 3 hours. I'm so tired, blah, blah, blah. He goes, okay, now we're going to do our 50-meter sprints. It was like 50, maximum effort, timed one, and then just get back as best you can, breaststroke, hanging onto the lane rope, hyperventilating back. And then we do it again. I think there was like 10 of these hundreds. And I kind of got out, and I'm just saying to Hubbard, it's really interesting that I forgot that I wasn't thinking I'm tired, I've just done 3 hours. I was just in the moment. I was just like, right.
Find a way. That's a perfect mantra for your swim. Just write it down. Find a way.
Find a way. That's right. But even in the dam last week, was it last week? Yeah, I did a 12. Sort of every week I'm kind of building up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, last week I did a 12, and I got to like 10K in the dam, and I swim with this amazing guy called Michael. His name's Michael Powell, and so he's done English Channel, North Channel, but he's only got one leg. He's just unbelievable. Wow. He's unbelievable. He's a super fish. Anyway, and sometimes he'll swim. We always joke. I'm like, are you swimming with your leg today? Like his fake leg. He's so cute. He's the cutest. Anyway, he swam. We it really is. And I think he did English Channel and North Channel up to before COVID anyway. But anyway, and he we swim, and we got to 10K, and in the dam, because we kind of do these laps where I think I was talking about the floaty thing that we put our feeds in, and you swim 20 minutes that way, 20 minutes that way, feed 20 minutes that 20.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I kind of was coming up to 10K, and I just said to him, and this is where my mental, he actually said he reckons my brain's going to get me. Like I'm really got to train my brain more. I'm not as strong as I would like to be, but I kind of get to 10K, and I'm like, got to get to my son's cricket. Every excuse in the book was coming round, and I was dropping, and my I was trying to just blah, blah, blah. And he goes, okay, you need to just relax your shoulders. And I went, what? And he goes, just relax your shoulders. Come and do a lap and just relax your shoulders. And it was incredible. Just 3 words. And it was like I had this new lease of life, and I felt great again. I'm like, relax your shoulders. And I was swimming, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you kind of don't realize. I think I was tense because I was like, I'm done. I've got to do this. Yeah. Not because I was tired from swimming. And then he's like, okay, now we're going to, he goes, now you're in the Derwent River. He's so funny. You're in the Derwent River, and you've got to, you've got 30 Ks. Oh my gosh, the wind has come up. Now you have to do a sprint. It's great. And I'm like, Michael, I'm so done. And he goes, what? You just going to get out at 30K?
That's fantastic.
Michael, I hate you right now. I hate you right now. They're saying, hi, Michael, because they're the experts, right? So I just keep smiling. I'm like, oh. Anyway, so he goes, come on, one more lap. So we get out and we sort of sprint to the buoy and then slow. And so he gave me something to think of, if we're going to sprint to this buoy, then we're going to relax and sprint it was kind of like the sprints in the last, and we get the furthest most buoy and he goes, okay, now we're going to do, so you kind of do these laps, and now he wanted me to do like a right angle, like another 500 meters down that way. I said, Michael, I'm not leaving here. And he goes, here you are, come on, let's go. So then he got me to do another K that way and then another K back again. And he goes, okay, you're done. Like, there's still a K to get back. He goes, oh, really? Okay, well, you better start swimming. And then I get back and I get out and I'm just like, thank you so much. Like, I was so done an hour and a half before I actually finished. Like, I was out. If he wasn't there, I was out, and I just think I'm just going to draw on those sort of things. The sprints yesterday, I'm just going to draw on them because my mind, I'm still wondering how I'm going to tackle that on my own, well, and as my husband says, I'm not going to be on my own. There's going to be one of my swimmers, Yoop, that I train with, he's 2 days after me. So he's going to fly down early and come and be on my boat as well. So we train together all the time. So he knows my stroke. He knows everything. I love hubby. He's my rock, but he knows nothing about swimming, right? So if something like he wouldn't know to say relax your shoulders, or he'd be like, just swim.
Yeah. You made me come here. Yeah. Write those things down.
Makes me, pardon?
I said, write those things down. Just write them down. Journal about it. Like, this is where I was at. This is how I got through it. And that helps you kind of, they're little confidence boosters, and then you can, I like to write down swim tips or any like things to think about. And at your feed time, have someone give you like plant a little seed so that, you can think about it until your next feed. It helps.
That's a great idea. I feel like everyone has said one little saying to me that I just remember, and then, because even just starting the swim yesterday, just swim 2.5 hours on my own, like at, before squad yesterday, I just, it's just too overwhelming. It's just, I'm one of the best gifts I've learned in the last 3 weeks, 3 months, sorry, is that snorkel thing. How good are those things? They're genius. Anyway, I was sort of putting my snorkel on and I'm just looking at, and even the 50 meters to the other end just looked overwhelming. I've just done a huge weekend. We I don't know, my son had like they call it a semi-formal. It's kind of like a, I guess, valedictory type thing. Yeah, so there's this huge weekend of, I've got 2 finishing school, and it's this huge weekend of dinners and cricket and netball and, and then I snuck a weekend away with my girlfriends, like on Saturday night, got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, then I'm back again at 8 o'clock next morning. And
wow.
Yeah, it was just one of those weekends, those weekends that's just, you're prepared for it. It's going to be nuts that weekend. And I just sat on the edge of the pool. It's Monday morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just looking at the edge of the pool. I can't even swim 50 meters.
Right.
I'm just, I can't even do it. And then I swim with this other gentleman called Tony Midlow, and again, done English Channel, blah, 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 got all this world of experience. And just before I did Rottnest at the start of this year, this is the year, I just said to him, what do you say to yourself when you're standing on the edge and you're just looking out to the sea and you just go, are you kidding me? Like, that's when I really get in a headspace. And he just said, just go feed to feed, try really, really hard to just go, okay, feed to feed. And he goes, and every half an hour, think of something different. Mm-hmm. As in, okay, this feed on this half an hour, I'm going to kick. There's a concept. Yeah. This half an hour, I'm going to, really focus, because I'm a left breather, my right shoulder really gets nailed, So I'm going to really focus on my left pull. I'm going to really focus, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to really focus on getting that deep breath every time, or I'm going to speed my stroke up, and that really keeps me going a lot. I really just have to try not to get overwhelmed with what's ahead. And I just think, just think feed to feed, but
one stroke at a time. You can take it down even. Like, what's the smallest unit that you could think about? And just think about making it count, because each one gets you closer.
I do start counting strokes.
I do too.
When I'm really desperate.
Yeah, me too.
You know, when I'm really desperate, and I'm not saying it's a bad, you know, for anyone that counts strokes the whole way. I just, you know, like in the dam the other day with Michael, I was counting strokes, you know, and I'm generally, you know, 400 meters, I'll get 500 strokes or something, you know. So I'll just count 600 strokes, and I'm like, okay, that's 500 meters. Okay, let's count another 600. Let's count another 600. You know, anyway, it's we get there.
Yeah. Are there any other components to your training besides swimming?
Yeah, so I like I said, I'm a left-hand breather. So what has really changed is this snorkel business. I have seen people, because, you know, I don't know how old you are, but, you know, I'm an 80s girl, right? I was training in the 80s and early 90s, and we didn't have paddles. We had a kickboard on the edge of the pool, but I don't even know if we had a pool boy. I really don't know, right? So now there's just, you carry your swimming bag, and it's like you're carrying for going away for the weekend. You know, you've got a swimming bag just full of stuff. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. But this snorkel thing, it's really helped me. It's really helped with my neck. So with the Ks, I use it in the pool, but just with my Ks, and I use the first couple of times I didn't like it because I just couldn't control the water going up my nose. So I do a nose clip now. But yeah, this snorkel thing, you look like an absolute goose, but I really like it. It's taken the strain off my neck a lot, and it's taken the strain off my right shoulder a lot. So I have been doing a lot of Ks with the snorkel just to relieve that pressure. And that's Jay actually put me onto that. And I do go to a physio, but more so for the massage. And someone once said to me, never swim on a tight shoulder. Never swim on a tight shoulder, you'll do damage. So I try to do spiky ball, you know, like the evening's over, and the kids we've had dinner, we've cleaned up after dinner, and, you know, bless my cotton socks kids, they've gone downstairs and whatever they do on their phones, or, you know, they're teenagers, so they're out by 8 o'clock with me. We're out, you know. So I'll be watching some ridiculous Netflix with hubby on or if he's away, I'll be, and I'll get the spiky ball in a lot. So that's really helped a lot. I'll just lie on the ground, because sometimes it's just me and the dog, upstairs, because the kids are downstairs, the kitchen's clean, hubby's away, and I've worked, I've finished work, my band rehearsals at like 5, and I might have gone swimming training, done a stretchy swim. Actually, that is another thing too. I will go to squad at the 25-meter pool, and I call it my stretchy swim. So I might only do 2.2K in the squad, but I really focus on just stretching it, like no distance, no speed, like no I see my girlfriends, it's a social swim, not social, like they're triathletes. So they're very competitive. Right. But I call it my stretchy swim because I sit at the back of the lane, and I just really focus on stretching forward. I don't look at my Ks. I don't look at my times. I just hang on to the back of the lane. I shamelessly sometimes will draft off somebody, and I don't care, because I'm just stretching out, and I just feel so good afterwards. Like, it's just an hour. I just feel really good. And then, so that I'll finish that at like 7, and then I'll come home and have dinner with kids, and, and then I'll go off and do whatever teenagers do in their bedrooms at 9 o'clock at night. And I'll just lie on the floor with the dog and throw the ball to the dog while I'm on a spiky ball, while the dog's trying to get the spiky ball from underneath my shoulder.
Yeah.
But
that's great though.
So I do that. That's really stuck with me. Never swim on a tight shoulder. That's really stuck with me. And I also do get that dry needling. Have you heard of dry needling? It's interesting. Yeah, it's it's not acupuncture. You know how acupuncture is, they get pressure points. You know acupuncture? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is small needles. This is the small needles similar, but they'll put it in a tight muscle and wait for it. They'll wiggle it and your muscle spasms and it's like, oh
my goodness.
And then they pull it out and it releases it. I don't know what it does. People can Google it. I haven't Googled it because I don't care. It works for me.
Works. Okay.
I don't care. I don't, to be honest, I don't want to know because it might turn me off. And I seriously have to breathe through it. It's like having childbirth again. You're like, breathing through it again. And some muscles will just spasm. Some muscles, nothing. You're like, oh, that's all right, but some will really spasm and your shoulder feels really heavy for like when you go to bed and maybe the next morning or something. Wow. But it just releases the tension in your shoulder so much. I'm really conscious of my shoulder because I've got no knees. I've only got one hip. I've got sinus. Yes, I'm really conscious of all of my joints being tall and lanky and I just like, I can't lose my shoulders. My shoulders.
Yeah.
So I'm really to this between the snorkeling and the dry needling, it's really helped with that. And sometimes I have to ask people. I was saying to Brittany the other day, I said, is that a bad, I was describing like a little something in my shoulder. I'm like, how do you know when it's a bad pain? Do you know what I mean? Am I actually giving myself an injury here? Right. Or am I? And she's like, oh, God. She's like, I'm in pain all the time. Oh, good-o. You're in pain all the time. Excellent.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, you must be coming up to like your peak. When is your peak week of training?
Not just before, a week, 2 weeks before Christmas.
So in about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 or 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a 20K swim, which is so ironic because Rottnest was 20K. How funny is that? Like a year ago, I was training for a 20K. Yeah. Now 20K is my
part of your training. Yes.
Good-o.
Yay.
So I've got a 20K. I think it's like 8-9 days before Christmas.
Okay.
Because I keep joking that it'll take me a couple of days to recover from that. So I've got to make sure I've got all my Christmas shopping done by then.
Exactly.
I have the priorities of a mother. I better have my Christmas shopping done before that 20K because I ain't going to no shop and lifting my arms up and grabbing stuff off. And I'll increase my, because we have our summer, so we school teacher. Sorry, everybody out there, I get the holidays, but we've got our 6-week break starting kind of 3 weeks before Christmas. So I'll really ramp up the cold water pool then too. So
tell us. So cold water pool. So you're doing the cold. Tell us about. I don't think you've elaborated on the cold pool. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. This is interesting. So I don't know if you have them there. So Australia is just this huge sporting community, right? So
island.
Yeah, but also so we have these cold they're plunge pools, right? They're not, you don't swim in them like laps,
right?
And I mean they vary in depth and length and all that kind of stuff. So this particular one that we have been going to is 11 degrees, so it is chilly, 51. Very, very cold.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's obviously a lot colder than Derwent will be. And I've been going with people that have been doing it for a couple of years. They did it, leading up to the English Channel, all those whatever cold ones they've been doing. But so it's like a plunge pool. They use it for a lot of therapy. So you literally just sit in it. Mm-hmm. When we're in it, there'll be people that are rehabbing their knees or their shoulders, and they'll go, and there's a hot pool beside it that's like 36 degrees. So that's really hot.
96, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see the people, you'll see people that are rehabbing something, and they might have their carer with them or whatever, and they'll go in the cold pool literally for 30 seconds and they'll go in the hot pool, and it's quite a release. Apparently it releases muscles and all that kind of stuff. But we don't go in the hot pool. Apparently if you sit in the cold pool and then go in the hot pool, your blood pressure really drops. Yeah, and it's really dangerous apparently. Anyway, I haven't tried it. So we go in this cold pool and it's torture. So we go anywhere from 2 or 5 of us, and there's a couple of them that are just amazing. Like, they're so good at it. But I'll literally like put my toes in and just, I can't do this. I can't, like, it's just torture. And then I'll get up to my waist and I'll say glutes. My glutes go on fire. It's
really?
It's unbelievable. I don't understand why. And then you get your hands and you just put your hands in, and it's like your hands are on fire. It's just, it's crazy. And then Brittany, she's a machine, man. Anyway, she's like, right, this is your 1 minute call, everybody, to get in. So then you just have to do it. And I actually get a bit dizzy when I first get in. My blood pressure drops really quickly. Yeah. So everyone's really conscious, like, Carolyn, you hang on to the side. So we'll get in like up to our neck. Michael will always yell at me if I haven't got my traps in, and get your traps in. Yeah. And I'm good. The first 5 minutes is just the biggest mental battle. If you could hear what's in my head, like, it's, I have no friends. Everyone's just the cruelest people in the universe. I'm not doing Derwent. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's tough getting in cold water when you can't move. Like, I get in, sometimes I'll do cold swimming in the winter, but it's like, we make sure we're able to swim, because you still go through all those, why am I here? What did I think that this is a crazy idea? What's going on? But you're at least able to swim it out. And then you're like, I can't imagine doing it and being still. That's how it's hard.
Yeah. Well, we kind of move our arms and we do some boxing underwater, and if you haven't done it, you won't believe me, but truly after about 5-7 minutes, you actually settle. And honestly, we giggle like 12-year-old girls, we're middle-aged men and women just giggling. And then we play the alphabet games and pass time where and we all have, or we'll say something, we have to tell a story about our childhood just to pass the time, just like, come on. And then at half an hour, we'll have a hot drink. Wow. I've learned, again, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I literally have just learnt this from everybody else. I'll have a hot drink at half an hour, and then we get out after an hour. We stayed in an hour and 15 the other day, so that was exciting. And then you get out and it's just like the race against time. It's just, you can hardly walk because your feet, like, you feel like you're like a ballerina, because I can't bend my ankle. So I'm walking with right ankles,
Yeah.
And it's a race against time for the after drop,
Oh, yeah. Before you start shivering. Yeah. To get your clothes on.
And it's just, you feel all right. You get out and you feel fine. You get to the change room and you just, as fast as you can, getting ready, like before, and your hands are a little bit slow and your feet are at right angles, so you can't put it in your pants. And then we get, as soon as you're dressed, you just get out and go to the car park and start doing your star jumps. But I have noticed the shivering is definitely getting less. Like the intensity is still full on, but when I first started a few months ago, I was still shivering an hour and a half later, and my jaw would hurt. And but now, it's just awful. The after drop is awful. But,
do you submerge, or is it just up to your neck?
Well, isn't that controversial? So most of us just go up to our neck. Michael, the guy who I was swimming with the other day, he's an absolute goose. He's like this entertaining clown, and he'll go underneath and he'll dive in, he'll jump underneath. But I have to say, I'm not brave enough to put my head underneath yet, but I should. I will one day. No one else does, so why should I, right?
Michael does. How big is
Michael
the
does.
pool? How big is
Pardon?
the pool? How big is
Just
it?
a plunge pool, like the size of a bedroom, I guess.
A bedroom. Okay. I've seen like plunge pools that are, well, they're like you can get into it physically, and but like one person could fit in there at a time. So a bedroom is much bigger.
No,
Okay.
it's a bedroom, so you can still kind of walk around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do walk around. We there's like a seat, and so we will kick our legs constantly. So we are moving the whole time.
Yeah.
We're not moving forwards, but we are moving, and we'll get like those floaty dumbbell things, and we'll put them under the water, and we'll do this kind of thing. So yeah, so we'll do that. And then I also have I've been saving our milk containers at home for a few months, and we've got a deep freeze here. And I mean, some people do this cold chest freezer thing where have you heard of that they do here?
Converting like a chest freezer for I've heard of it.
Yeah, lots of people have done that, but I haven't done that. All I did was got milk containers, and I think I'm up to about 30 of them now, just saving them. I fill them with water and put them in a deep freeze. So our freezer upstairs is full because we can't put any food in the deep freezer downstairs. It's full of ice milk containers. And I find if I fill a bath up and I put all the milk containers in, because I mean, you can buy ice, but it's going to cost money every time, right?
I gave this tip. You mentioned this, and I told one of my clients in Arizona who's working on cold tolerance over the winter. Well, for Arizona, they don't get that cold, so she's still.
Same.
But anyway, I told her the milk carton, and she's like, "Oh, that's a great idea." So she's adopted it. It's. I'm glad. She was buying ice every week.
And the ice melts, so your body temperature heats it up. But because it's block ice, because we're big camping people, and we know that if you freeze milk containers, the ice actually stays, because it's block ice, it stays colder longer. Whereas if you just get a cooler or an esky, I noticed I said esky last time. I'm like, do you even know what an esky is? Like the cooler box thing. Yes. Anyway, but I have found you fill the bath and put all the ice things in, but then leave it for an hour. And it cools down, because we're so warm here at the moment. Even the water coming out of the tap is warm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even the cold, I mean, it's not hot, but it's warm because it's been in the pipes, right?
Yeah.
So I left it for an hour. This is a couple of weeks ago. I left it for an hour, and it got down to 15. Wow. And then, it got down to 15. And I sat in there. I was watching American Survivor. Someone said, well, that's ironic, isn't it? So my goal was to get through a whole episode of Survivor, which I did. So I was very excited about that. But yeah, I got out but I was out of routine. I'm like, oh, that's exciting, And then I just forgot about the cold drop. Like I was just, and I'm like, oh, and then I was just, so I'm like, oh, so I'm in my cold togs, and luckily I'm at home. So I'm just ripping the togs off and blanket and, so I was definitely, but it was cheaper. I guess the only thing is the wasting of the water. Yeah. So I did get some jugs and do all my plants. Nice. I left the water in, and I was I was watering all my plants with the thing, and then some of the I filled more containers with that water, and so for all those environmentalists, I tried to use most of the water. Right. So that was that's I guess a cheap version of getting in the cold pool. So
how often are you doing the cold? So you said you're ramping up to, just to kind of a little summary before we say we'll see you again in a month. So you're ramping up. What's your meters right now per week, roughly?
So he does a 4-week cycle. So 3 big weeks, 1 lower week, like probably a mental thing as well as physical. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting on about this week was a 38K week. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the biggest week I've ever done.
Wow.
But
congratulations.
Then next week, I know, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I was very excited. Well, I haven't done it yet. It's only Tuesday, right?
Okay. Yes, that's right. You're going to. It's big week.
Yeah, because I've got that 14K on 10 yesterday, and I've got that 14K on Friday, but it'll be fine. And then next week, he's very good. Really quickly, he's very good at. I wrote down kind of that. So next week, my daughter finishes year 12, and we got the big graduation and families and dinner. So he made that a really low week. So it'll be like a 20K stretchy week.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So, and then I'll try and get to the cold pool once a week with my friends, and I'll do the ice bath once a week.
So 2 times cold.
I think
then
so.
All your regular swimming, and then you get your freshwater training in. You got your stretchy squad.
A stretchy squad. That's right. And I'll kind of just have my physio once every 2 weeks. I'm not saying all this. I'm not even sure how I feel all this in. Plus work. I work 4 days a week.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm a band teacher. So this time of year, well, like we're at the end of year. So we've got all our academic awards, and we toured all of our primary schools last week. And so it's just practicing all the nutrition and I don't know. I think I'm very good at compartmentalizing. So I just right now I'm at work. Now I'm at. I try not to think. Okay, I'm at work, and tonight I've got to do a 5K or whatever.
Right. When you go, will you be back in school after the holidays before the swim, or are you?
No,
that's swim and then you go back. Yeah.
That's why I'm one of the first cabs off the rank, because I said I want to get it done, because starting the school year is just crazy.
I can only imagine.
New kids coming in learning instruments, and there's no way. And so that's why I said, the guy that organises it, I said I really need to. January is not ideal for me because it's probably colder. It gets warmer in February.
Right.
But in regards to family life, it was just a sacrifice that needed to be made. Like I can't. My daughter will be starting university. My son will be starting year 12. I'll be. Goodness only knows what what he'll be doing. It's just too much. So a sacrifice was, okay, I have to swim in a little bit colder water. Fingers crossed it won't be that cold, but I have to do it. I have to do it before I go back to work, and then swimming won't hear from me probably for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Afterwards. Apparently I have to work to pay for it all.
Right, exactly. Well, I am so excited to get to part 2. We'll just do a 3 parts with you. We'll touch base with you next month before your swim and see how it's going.
It's exciting.
Yeah, maybe we should talk to you after your 20K. We'll touch base about that, and then we'll follow up with you after. So it's a short journey, but I'm really excited to follow your journey. Thank you, Carolyn.
It'll be fun. Thank you, Shannon. You're amazing.
Oh, you're too kind. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Do you want to take Marathon Swim Stories with you? Subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Want to connect with like-minded limit pushers? Join us for Marathon Swim Stories live on Tuesdays at 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, 13:30 GMT. Thanks for watching.